Beginning of the week, a couple of times this week, we had some movements on this Russia-Ukraine crap, right? You got equities dropping, you had gold moving to moving back up. Matter of fact, I think it's up again today. First time in like it's I can't even put it in context, but like about 5 days in a row, gold has been up essentially. And you've seen oil move around quite a bit too. So a little bit of movement in the overnight trading sessions. AI, of course, NVIDIA. Volatility sellers were rewarded in NVIDIA. I think there was about an $8 or 8% move expected, and we didn't get that at all. So vol completely just collapsed in there. The company did say it's full steam ahead on the Blackwell chip, so it looks like things are going okay. But it was surprising. We didn't really get much of a move in NVIDIA. You guys trade that for earnings?
I'm surprised the news doesn't say Bat said it would open down $4 or $5. I think it went down $6 and then opened $4 the next day. I believe it opened $3. I'm surprised that's not your news, but this is good too.
Big week for Bitcoin,
we traded man. Small. It was a good winner for everybody.
Yeah. Big week for Bitcoin. Futures as of this morning traded over 100K, and then certain Bitcoin ETFs started trading options. IBIT and FBTC and a couple of others started trading options. So you got a lot of activity in there more recently. Euro falls to the lowest since 2022. Bets are surging. The ECB is going to cut rates, and the dollar's positive for the 8th week in a row. And of course, Treasuries kind of slide again this week. 10-year yield came really close to going to 4.5%, but not quite. Let's move to the next slide. So, I mean, I thought it was going to be a way more boring week, but a couple of things actually happened. This is where we are as far as volatility curve in the middle here. Things have changed a lot since Halloween, of course, when we had backwardation. You've seen vol lower, but a little pump up in vol this week, probably because of all this talk of Russia-Ukraine crap overnight. And you got vol bid a little bit, but still in the teens, still like around 16 and change. And almost in contango, almost kind of flat. We're in between. So if we got a little whatever fracas happened, of course, we could easily be right back in backwardation because those first 3 months are kind of close together, actually. Let's move to the next slide.
Good point.
Speaking of Russia-Ukraine, the last time we saw the Widowmaker spread in a meaningful level, somewhere between blowing out like $1.70 to $2, was during that time a couple of years ago. Other than that, right now it's fairly close together, about 6.8 cents difference in March and April. But if this flare-up happens and something more happens, we could see it widen out there, right? I mean, the last week, natural gas was almost up 20% on the week. I think it ended up fading as of yesterday, and I think it might be down again today. But natural gas has been making a move. So we'll see.
Getting whacked today.
It's down almost 5% today. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. You know, all that talk this week had it moving, but it's calmed down since. But again, it's been interesting to me watching this Widowmaker spread. This thing always used to be between like $1.70 and $2, 3 to 4 months out. Over the last few years, though, it's been really tight and really not much going on there. It doesn't seem like there's much of a trade anymore. Let's move to the next slide. Nuclear names have been on fire, if that even makes any sense. I don't know if it does, but OKLO is one I know a lot of us tasty people have talked about more recently. And just some of the other names that have moved around. It's hard to compare because SMR has just been crazy this year, whatever that name is. But okay, there's a couple of names here. Some of them are even utilities. CEG and PEG, I think, are utilities. Of course, there's the well-known CCJ. NLR is another ETF. And there's a couple other names. But the nuclear stuff has been the discussion because of AI and where they're going to get all this energy from and blah, 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 blah. Who the hell knows? But these names have been moving around quite a bit. Some volatility and some of them too. Let's move to the last slide.
We haven't traded a lot of those. Victor's mentioned those to us. They're good. I think they're almost stock plays, a lot of them. I don't know how the options are on some of them. Have you traded those, Jamal?
OKLO, I was trading it actually about 2 months ago. Did well in it, but
it looks like the most popular one.
Yeah, I haven't touched, and it has a lot of volume, right? And it's I mean, that's the thing. It has volume, and it has pretty decent open interest. At least it did when I was trading it. So that's what drew me to it.
Yep.
So DOJ is kind of deemed Google to be a monopoly, and they're going to be forced to sell Chrome. It's supposed to be about $15 to $20 billion worth for that asset. I tell you what, early in the week, this news came out like Monday, Tuesday. Stock didn't even move, but yesterday, big move. So clearly, it's a thing now. We'll see. And I mean, it stood out. It wasn't like all the other, Mag 7 names were moving. This one was moving more than a lot of them. MicroStrategies, I don't know what they know that we don't know. Maybe they just don't care, but they just keep buying Bitcoin. They purchased $4.6 billion worth of Bitcoin at an average price of 88K, getting rewarded as of the day, but they just keep buying Bitcoin and putting it on the sheets. Tesla early this week.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
What's that? Buying Bitcoin?
With other people. That's the business model. I mean, the stock was, up 200 in the last month, down 100 yesterday, up small today. I mean, ride the wave, I guess.
As long as it's other people's money, I guess it doesn't matter.
It's funny. Yes. Not you mentioned. I gotta bring this up. I saw something a little while ago about Bitcoin-backed loans. I'm like, what? So
it does have a little bit of buying land back in the day, with loans from people, like the whole Vegas, buy the condo at 150, sell it at 300, buy it back at 500, sell it at 650.
Why do we do these things to ourselves
because they work?
You know what I mean?
They work until they don't.
Right. They work until they don't.
Right.
It's getting to be a house of cards. I'd be really careful. That's all.
Like mortgage-backed securities and all these other things. We eventually there's something that we just got to find new ways to do something, right? We're always pushing and pushing. I will say, we this is what we do, right? But eventually it does lead to something, and that's
you know why? Because wealth is a grind. I mean, I get it. There are those outlier moves, but wealth is a grind, and people are always looking for the shortcut to the grind. It's a grind.
Tony, that is a bar. Wealth is a grind.
Wealth is a grind, man.
We need to make that a shirt, man.
It might be a grind of 10 years. It might be a grind of 40 years, but it's a grind. Whatever it is, it's a grind.
Yeah.
One of the things that we say all the time when we're doing lectures is that wealth is a byproduct of longevity. He or she who can survive the longest, that's what it is. I mean, even with Warren Buffett, it's just about longevity, Mm-hmm. You make it 40 years, then the next 20, you kill it.
Yeah.
Tesla made a big surge early this week. They're talking about the federal framework for relaxing the stuff around self-driving cars. Uber, of course, tanked. That would be a tough thing for them to deal with. They'd have to figure it out. Spirit Airlines is filing for bankruptcy. They tried to merge this in the last couple of years, and it just didn't work with either Frontier or JetBlue. One of them was blocked, etc.
That's the biggest tragedy on the board there. I mean, you had a company that had a buyer. Why would you block it to watch the company? I mean, you had to be seeing behind the scenes to have a company go bankrupt, and then all those jobs are gone. Everything is gone. I mean, I don't get it. I don't
get it either. I mean, it seemed like they
let the buyer beware if that's what they want.
They were saying it was going to raise fares. I didn't really make sense. I'm not really sure what the deal was, but
me either. I'm not that close to the.
In hindsight, it was a mistake, obviously.
Walmart delivered on earnings, but the CEO did say they'd be forced to raise tariffs raise prices if tariffs materialize. We'll see what ends up happening. Beckett rose 30% this week on the rumor that they were going to get purchased by Trump Media. And then in research, market measure, is this the end of BPR breaking losses? Check that out.